Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 3 math. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 3 and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter decimals, and the lessons we're going to cover today are convert between decimals and fractions, word names for decimals, add and subtract decimals, add and subtract decimal word problems, and add three or more decimals. So let's just start with the first lesson. Okay, here I am on grade 3 math. The chapter we're working on is decimals. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is convert between decimals and fractions. So let's just start with the first lesson. Write 0.63 as a fraction. So you are given a decimal, right? 0.63 is decimal. You have to write it in the fractional form, right? So how do you write? Just look at the place value chart, right? You have the first digit right after decimal point. The first digit is at the 10th position, and the next one is at hundredth position, right? So 6 is at the 10th position and 3 is at the hundredth position. So whenever you have to just look at the decimal point, right after decimal point you have two digits, right? So that means you have to put 1 and you have to add two zeros. So it would be 1 and 0, 0, right? Okay, the next one is write 0.70 as a fraction. So you're given a decimal, you have to write it in the fractional form, right? So how do you write? Just look at the digits right after decimal point. Right after decimal you have two digits, right? So for a decimal point you have to add 1, and you have two digits, so you have to add two zeros, so it would be 70 over 100, right? Okay, the next one is write 19 over 100 as a decimal, right? You are given the fractional in fractional form, right? You have to write in the decimal form. So whenever you are given a fraction, you have to write the answer in the decimal form. What you have to do, you just have to see, because you have to 19 is a two digit number, right? So how do you write? That means you have to write two digits right after decimal point. It would be 0.19. You have to put decimal point on the right hand side. You have to move decimal point from here to here, so it would be 0.19, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, write 3 whole 4 over 100. So the 3 whole means 3 is the whole number, right? This one is the whole number. You have two zeros. That means you have to move decimal point places left. You have just one. Add another zero and move decimal point from here to here. So it would be 3.04 because that is the whole number. So the correct option is option number 1. It is 3.04. Okay, write 8 over 10. So you can see you just have a 10, just one zero, right? That means you have to move decimal point one place left from here to here. It would be then 0.8, or either you can say zero point 0.8, right? That would be 0 0.8. Option number 2 is the correct option. It is 0 0.8. Write 19 over 100. How do you write 19 over 100? You can see 19 is dividing by the 100 have two zeros, right? That means you have to move decimal point two places left, right? You have to move from here to here, so it would be 0.19. If you already know the answers, you can please write down the answers in the chat box. It would be 0.19. Option 1 is the correct option. Write 2.73 as a mixed number. Okay, you are given a fractional number, you have to you are given a decimal, you have to write in a fractional form, right? So that 2 is the whole number, right? Then you have 73.73. So that means you have two digits right after 73. So you have to add two zeros. So it would be 2 whole 73 over 100. So the correct option is option number 2. The second option is the correct one. It is 2 whole 73 over 100. Write 8.5 as a mixed number. So how do you write 8.5? Yes, hi. If you already know the answers, you can please write down the answers in the chat box. 8.5, right? So 8 is the whole number, and you have one decimal place right after the decimal. So it would be 8 whole 5 over 10. So the correct option is 8 whole 5 over 10. Option number 1 is the correct option. Sorry, option 2, that is 8 whole 5 over 10. So the second option is the correct option. Write 3 whole 73 over 100 as a decimal number. So which is the correct option? 73 is dividing 200, right? 3 is the whole number. That means you have to move decimal point two places left. So it is 3.73 is the correct option. This option last one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next one. The next one is word names for decimals. Write 5 and 83 hundredth, right? 5 is the whole number. 83, right? That means hundreds. Whenever you have th, that means that is the hundredth, and that is right after the decimal point. So after the decimal point you have to add tenth. First digit is always the 10th one, and the second one is the hundredths one, right? So it would be 8 is the 10th digit and 3 is the hundredth digit. So it would be 5.83 is the correct option, right? Write 7/10 as a decimal number. 7/10 means 7 is at the 10th position, right? 10th position is the very first one right after decimal point, so it would be 0.7. So the correct option is 0.7. Write 3 and 85 hundredths. So which is the correct option? 3 is the whole number, right? 85 hundredth means 5 is at the hundredths position, right? And 8 is at the 10th position, so it would be 3.85. Let's just start with the practice questions. If you already know the answers, you can please write down the answers in the chat box. Write 5 and 83 hundredths as a decimal. So which is the correct option? 5 and 83. 5 is the whole number, right? Then you have 83 hundredths. That means 3 is at the hundredths position and 8 would be at the 10th position. So it would be 5 point. That is 5.83. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Write 1 and 8/10 as a decimal number. So which is the correct option? 1 and 8/10 means you have 8 at the 10th position, right? So it would be 1.8. So that would be 1.8 because 1 is the whole number and 8 is at the 10th position, so it would be 1.8, right? You have to keep the place value chart for the decimals in your mind, right? The very first digit right after the decimal point is that is at the 10th position, and the other next one is at the hundredth position. So it would be right 79 hundredths as a decimal number. Okay, you just here just given 79 hundredths, right? That means 9 is at the 100th position and 7 is at the 10th position. So it would be 0.79 is the correct option. You are not given 7 as whole number, right? If 7 is whole number, it would be 7 and, right? But you have just given 7900. So that means you have 0.79 is the correct option. Write 3 and 85 hundredths. So which is the correct option? It would be 3 and 85 hundredths. So 3 is the whole number and 85 at the hundred, so it would be 8 is at the 10th position and 5 is at the 100 position, so it would be 3.85. Write 4/10 as decimal number, so which is the correct option? 4/10, that means 4 is at the 10th position, right? So that would be 0.4. It would be, you have to keep the place value chart for the decimals in your mind. It would be like this. You have a whole number. Sorry. Let me just write it on the whiteboard so that you can keep this in your mind. Right here you have the whole number, then you have a decimal point, that is the digit that is at the tenths position, and then the hundredths position, right? So if you have a number like 3, 10, and 85 hundredths, it would be like this. So here you are given 4 at 10th, 4 tenth, you are just given 4 tenth. That would be 4 is at the 10th position. You don't have any whole number, so it would be 0.4, right? So the correct option is 0.4. The second option is the correct one. No, it is 0.4. The very first position, just look at this one. The very first position after the decimal point is the 10th, right? So it would be 0.4, not 0.04. It 0.04 is the answer if you are given just 4 hundredths. Then you have to write 4 right below the 100. Patch, got it? Okay, the next one is 6 and 34 hundredths. So which is the correct option? 6 and 34. 6 is at the whole number and it would be 6.34. The second option is the correct one. It would be 6.34. Write 84 hundredths as a decimal number. So which is the correct option? It would be 0.84. The correct option is 0.84, right? Very good, Patch. Write 2 and 7 tenth. Which is the correct option? The correct option is 2 and 7 tenth. So 2 is the whole number and 7 would be at the 10th position. So that would be 2.7, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is add and subtract decimals, right? Okay, use the workbook or do, let's just move on to next one. That would be add and subtract decimals word problems. Okay, Lisa's company bought 8.6 pounds of wood and 9.2 pounds of brick. How much pounds of material did the company buy in? Also, first of all, you have to add these numbers, right? You have to line up the decimal points, right? Decimal points would be at the same position for both the numbers. You can see here 8.6 and 1.6, right? You have to line up the decimal point. You just have to add, like you simply add the number. 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 and 9 is 17. So it would be 17 because you have decimal point right after one digit. So it would be in the one digit in the answer. So it would be, okay, the next one is Zoe bought 9.1 gallons of orange juice and used 2.1 of it to make popsicles. How much orange juice did Zoe have left? So he bought 9.1 gallons. He used 2.1. So basically, you have to subtract, right? It would be 9.1 minus 2.1. So let's just subtract them. You have to line up the decimal point, and then one take away one is 0, and 9 take away 2 is 7. So let's just start with the practice questions. Lucy had zero point 0.2 grams of pepper. Then she used zero point 0.1 grams of pepper to make some scrambled eggs. How much pepper does Lucy have left, right? So because you have to see how much he left, he have total 0.2, 0.1 gram of pepper he used while making scrambled eggs. So you have to subtract, just line up the decimal point. You can see they are one above the other. And subtract like you simply do. 2 minus 1 is 1, and you have 0.1 it is, right? That means the correct option is option number 1. 0.1 is the correct option. A bee colony produced zero point 0.9 pounds of honey, but bears ate zero point 0.7 pounds of it. How much money remains? Whenever you have the words like remain, left, you have to subtract them, right? So you just have to do zero point 0.9 take away 0.7. So you have to line up the decimal point. 9 take away 7 is 2, and it would be 0.2. So that means the honey left is 0.2. How 3? 9 minus 7 is 2. That would be just 0.2. Be careful while adding or subtracting. Logan bought zero point 0.3 pounds of peanuts and zero point 0.2 pounds of raisins. How many pounds of snacks did he buy in all? So you have to add because you have to see how much he buy in all. So just add zero point 0.3 and 0.2. So which is the correct option? You have to add zero point 0.3 plus 0.2, and it makes 0.5. A carpenter bought a piece of wood that was 9.5 meters long. Then he sawed 2.2 meters off the end. How long is the piece of wood now? So which is the correct option? What you have to do? You have to subtract them, right? 9.5 minus 2.2 is, it would be 7.3. The correct option is 7.3. 6.3. On a school trip, a class travels 3.1 kilometer by train and 3.1 kilometers by bus. How far did the class travel? You have to calculate the total distance they traveled, right? Yes, it is. You have to add, so it makes 6.6. Kendall bought a piece of fabric that was 7.3 meter long. Then she cut 3.5 meters of it off to use a swing project, right? So he have earlier the fabric is 7.3. He used 3.5. You have to see how much fabric he have left. So what you have to do, you have to subtract, right? 3 point, just subtract 3.5 out of 7.3. So which is the correct option? You have to subtract. So 7.3 minus 3.5 is 3.8. The correct option is 3.8. Sadie bought a bag of carrots. How many pounds of vegetable did Sadie buy? You have to add, right? So when you add, it makes 7.7. The correct option is 7.7. A chef bought 2.4 pounds of white rice and 1.4 pounds of brown rice. How much did the chef buy in all? So what you have to do, add or subtract? You have to add, right? Because you have to see how much rice did the chef buy in. Also, you have to add 1.4 and 2.4 is 3.8. Susan bought a new roll of tape. You have to see how much tape left. That means you have to subtract, right? 8.8 minus 2.5 is 6.3, right? Okay, Carson bought 4.7 ounces of sugar and he spilled 2.1 ounces of it on the floor. How much sugar is left? We have to subtract, right? 4.7 minus 2.1 is. You have to subtract, so it would be 2.6, right? Okay, you can complete the test by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is add three or more decimals. So what you have to do, if you have more than one decimal, you have to just line up the decimal points, right? And you simply have to add like you do the simple numbers, right? So just add 7 plus 5 makes 12 and 12 plus 2 makes 14. So you have to write 4 here and carry 1, right? So it would be then 9 and 1 10, 3 12 and 2 15. So that would be 15.4. The correct option is 15.4. Let's just start with the practice questions. You have to add, right? So start adding from the rightmost digit. So it would be 6 and 4 10 and 1 11. So you have to write 1 over here and carry 1, right? Then you have 9 and 1 10 and 1 11. So you have to write 1 here and carry 1, right? Then you have to add 9 and 1 10 and 5 15, 16 17 18. So it would be 18.11, right? That would be the second option. You simply have to add them or subtract them like you do with simple numbers. You just have to take care of the decimal point, right? Where you have to put. That is the important thing when you are adding or subtracting the decimals, right? Okay, let's just add. You have 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 8. Then 6 and 4, 10, write 0 here and carry 1. So it would be 1.08. The correct option is 1.08. That would be option number 1. Okay, the next one is you have to add. So it would be 8 and 5 13. 8 and 4 12 and 5 17. Write 7 and carry 1. So it would be 5 and 4 9 and 1 10 and 2 12. So it would be 12.7. The correct option is option number 1. Okay, the next one is you have to add. So 6 and 1 7, 8 9 10 11. Write 1 and carry 1. 6 and 1 7, 8 and 5 13. Write 3 here and carry 1. So it would be 1.31. The correct option is 1.31. That is the correct option. Okay, you have to add 7 8 9 10. Write 0 here and carry 1. 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Write 6 here and carry 1. So it would be 1.60. It would be 1.60. The next one is you have to add. So which is the correct option? Just add and write the answer in the chat box. That would be 15.4, right? Yes, very good. That is option number one. Okay, again, you have to add. Just add and write the answer in the chat box. I'm waiting for the answers from your side. Be quick. Which is the correct option? That would be the second option, right? How? Let's just add. So you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2, 12. Write 2 here and carry 1. So it will be 8 and 16, 17, 18, 19, 9, and 1. It would be 1. No, that would be the second option. It is 1.92. 92, right? Please do not guess the answers. Use your notebook and pencil. Solve the question and then write the correct option in the chat box. So it is 1.92. Okay, again you have to add. So which is the correct option? That would be 0.57, right? The correct option is 0.57. Okay, the next one is you have to add. Okay, let's just add. It would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Write 1 and carry 1. It would be 3, 6, and 3, 9, and 1, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3, and 1. It would be, yes, that would be 12.39. The correct option is option number 1. That would be 12.39. Okay, the next one you have to add, right? So 6 and 4, 10 and 9, 19, right? So 9 would be at the tens position and 1 is the whole number. It would be 1.9, right? Okay, the next one is you have to add, right? How do you add? Like simple numbers. You just have to be careful about the decimal point. So 8 and 5, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? 7 and carry 1. So it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that would be 9.7, right? The correct option is 9.7. Okay, we are done with the lesson, with the chapter actually. We are working on grade 3 math. Chapter we're working on is decimals. The lessons we have covered today are convert between decimals and fractions, we're working on the chapter decimals, and the lessons we have covered today are convert between decimals and fractions, word names for decimals, add and subtract decimals, word problems, and the one we just did is add three or more decimals. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9, right? So if you have any question, you can please ask. No questions? Patch? What is the question? Can you please rewrite your question? Can you please repeat your question? I didn't get what you are asking for. What's under the? What is this question? Under mole? What mole? What do you mean by this? You can search on your own. That's not related to math. I'm just here to solve your problems related to math, right? If you have any question related to math, you can please ask. Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.